We're going to flip around our structure in this chapter. We're going to start with on screen. So we're going to jump back into ChatGPT in just a moment, and we're going to ask it to restructure our brief and pluck out all of the main components that we can add to our homepage. Things like our hero unit, which is our main banner on our site, our call to action button, signposting, and even latest news posts, etc. We've got an idea of what can go into our homepage. We're then going to take it over to the chalkboard in the final part to create our wireframe. And I'll create it with you. And once we've got that wireframe, I generally take a photo of it. I like a high-tech, low-tech approach, and I like to get onto the board, mainly because I don't get many opportunities to stand up during the working day, and that's one that I can do if we're working as part of a team. So with Ken, our creative lead, and Will, our technical lead, the three of us will often get our heads together as we're mapping out the structure of a project. And it's just nice to be able to have that environment where everyone can contribute, have a stick of chalk, and just start noodling away with the design. So this is a glimpse of exactly how I've done this process for many, many years, and hopefully there'll be a few things that you can take from this. Let's crack on. Okay, this part should be very, very quick. What we're going to do now is just put a prompt in to ask ChatGPT to restructure and extract the main information from this brief and start giving me some ideas for content for our homepage. Okay, so I've just created that prompt, and whilst it's generating that, I'll just talk you through what I've covered in that prompt. To start with, I've asked for a breakdown of the website homepage, starting with the hero unit. The hero unit, think of it as our billboard. So this is where we're going to choose a client-first approach. We could lead with services. We could lead with our culture as a business. There's loads of different approaches of where we could add into our hero unit. But for professional services, one easy way to get images is to put their audience in focus. So this could be a slideshow with multiple banners rolling through different stories and how we've helped them. And other software companies have delivered this approach very well. So I'm stealing little bits of that and making it our own. Then I've gone in to say we need an introductory paragraph about us, which could then feed off call to action button to the about us page. Visual links to target audience sectors, so we can have SMEs, corporate, public sector, then a breakdown of key services provided. This could be in list format. It could be in a accordion approach, so you can expand and collapse to find out a little bit of information about each service and then go to a services page. This is probably providing me more information that I need, but I'm going to use this now as our outline starting toolkit to be able to create our wireframe. And I'll also ask it to create I just put in not including blog posts, etc. I just want to see if it'll come up with a simple site map for this site. Just put it in a markdown block. Doesn't really matter too much. It's not 6 to 10 pages. It's actually added more than that. But again, we can use this to put in front of a client to see what they want. These could be one page, or they could be, for example, the home. These are sections within our homepage. Same with these about. But we would generally put these into a drop-down folder where we have team profiles as their own page. Everything else could be one page. So that could be a 2-page about us section. These could be services listed on the service page. And sectors, we probably have a landing page or a home page for every sector. Now they're all in place, let's crack on and create our wireframe. We've moved across to the chalkboard. And now we're going to start wireframing based on this outline structure. We've already had the chapter before on the key sections of our web page design. And we're going to start with, hopefully you've guessed it, the masthead. So the masthead is the section at the top of the site, usually quite thin, often called a header. That will give us our initial section. We will have our logo. Logo will normally be top left or top center. It depends on the design of the logo. If it's, for example, a round circle or disc, we can sometimes put that in the middle and even have it overlapping to the bottom of the masthead. So it just breaks out of the boxy shape a little bit as well. But when we're working on corporate websites like this one, we're generally looking at a slim masthead with logo top left-hand corner, our navigation system then going across. So we've got our site map ready to go. I don't need to redraw that in here. I just need an outline so I know roughly where that menu is going. And some form of call to action button here wouldn't go amiss as well. So that could link us to contact page, request a quote, or the main call to action for the site. The reason we want the main call to action there is that button will appear on every single page because this masthead will appear on every page. So having information in this top section is crucial. That's why we have our logo in the masthead. And a word of advice would be not to oversize your logo. Small, delicate, and just blending in to the rest of the design is usually the way we go with that. So once we've created our masthead, I'm just going to extend the sides of our website layout down the page. I'm not going to finish it off at the bottom yet because we don't know exactly how long it's going to be. I'm also making sure that I'm not coming in too low that you won't be able to see it on the camera. So once we've got our masthead in place, we're then going to create our hero unit. Our hero unit is our main banner for our website. Think of it as an inner city billboard. This is where we've got 3 seconds roughly to get our main message across. The problem we have with this type of website, and that's why I picked it, is because we don't tend to have great products to show images of. That's why service websites can be more challenging to start with. If, for example, we're a store selling artisan foods, then obviously we'd have professional photography of those products of the food there front and center in that hero unit. And the website would look gorgeous without having to do anything else. Here, we've got to work a little bit harder. We've got to choose an overarching theme, whether we could have illustration approach. A lot of software companies have gone down that road recently. We could choose stock images. If so, how do we get around the same cheesy stock images that we find on every low quality website? For example, a giant image of a handshake front and center would be about the cheesiest we could go with for this header area. A lot of larger corporate websites will go for lifestyle shots, so softer taking photos of clients in their environment. And that's what we're going to go with this. It's a safe option. We know we can get a theme carrying across here, but we also know that we can put this in front of the client and they would be content with the outcome in most cases. We'd also, in our briefing process and our meeting with them, prime them to this outcome. And we might even go through a few stock images and select them with the client so that they understand how we're going to move forward. Once we've got our image, we've then got to decide how it's going to fit in here. If we just went with one big image and no content, then we're using up a lot of our prime retail space, because on websites, the vertical space is the prime retail space. We usually have more space width-wise. It obviously depends on the screen size as well. But we have what we call the fold, which is a moving line in this day and age with responsive web design. But we're trying to fit our key content above the fold. We also need to know what our sales proposition is as well. What offer are we going to put in front of their client for them? As web designers, it's not our job to be experts in our client's field, but it's to be able to extract those offers, those value propositions from our client and their knowledge of their industry sector and their potential audience and their target audience as well. And it's our job to recondition that and format it in an easy to navigate website that puts that value proposition in first. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to put it in our main strap line. And I'm going to buy myself a little bit of time to think up some options for that. Again, I go into ChatGPT and ask it to come up with some solutions for a tagline, and then I might completely ignore it, or it might give me a bit of a jolt for something that would work. And here then we're going to have 2 areas that we're going to make use of this space. So we're going to have our client. These are not the best wireframe drawings I've done. So it could be 1 or 2 people, could be 2 people in an office having a conversation. Again, pretty generic, but the way we're structuring it makes it look more corporate. And I'll show you a little bit of that later on. Once we've created that, we've got then this section here. We don't necessarily need that line there. It will depend on how I end up designing it. But so I'm going to put sectors in there. So 3 or 4 sectors that we have will be 3 main tabs in here. So I might even decide to go with 3. So small, and then make this, bring this over a little bit further. We'll start again. So now I know what I want to do. We're going to go with small, corporate, and public sector. We can then put the titles of those target audiences in and a strapline to go with it. We might even go with icon-led approaches. So there's an icon for each of those target audiences and then a call to action button linking through to each. We might then decide to put a call to action button in here, but I think that will be enough. So when we land on the website, we get our logo, we get our menu system. So many of our users will decide to navigate through the menu system because they can see services listed at the top and go straight through to that page. Other visitors will want to be handheld through the process of looking at your website. And that's where this signposting in the page comes to the fore. So here we've got our 3 sectors. Each will be a call to action link to take you through to those sector pages so you can find out more. We've then got our lifestyle business photo of someone in that environment. We can either find a catch-all image or we can maybe have that rotating, maybe even have it changing on refresh every time we come back to the website. So once you've got that hero unit in place with 3 call to actions, so we're maximizing that space, we can then look at maybe then introducing the company. That will just be a catchy intro outlining the credentials and the history of this company. And what I might also do is filter in terms of how many people this company have helped. I'm just putting X% in so I remember what it's going to be. So it could be 3 stats about this company just to reinforce this introductory message before we go into the service signposting. For example, 98% customer satisfaction, X number of cases won per year, and X number of wills written, for example. So there's loads of options that we could put in for this, and those are stats to back up that key message for this company. We don't necessarily have to do that, but as a web designer, I'll often pitch that idea to our client just to set them off guard a little bit. It's within the structure of the brief, but a couple of ideas like that just reassures that our client that they're getting our best work, and we're constantly innovating, constantly thinking of ideas of how we can enhance their website prospect. This isn't rocket science. It's not something I haven't done before. It works well. It's a tried and tested approach. And most website projects that we work on, we are trying to pick our best ideas and recondition them, repackaging them in a proposition, again, an offer that really works for our client. Once we've got that in place, we're now going to go to our services signposting. Now, this will really depend on how many services we have. So we could have it almost like a menu system here. And then with each one of them, you can, that's supposed to be a chevron. So you can click on them to expand and collapse each of the services. Once we've got kind of those service breakdown, we then could then put in basically latest news. So we're going to go with a simple carousel block here. I got my widths a little bit wrong there. But that, again, just gives me a notification that when we're going to design this website, we've got the breakdown of the areas. Then once we've created that, we've got options. We don't have to really show anything else on this site. I tend to break down a website into 3 tiers of priority. Tiers 1 at the top here, which would be that masthead, and probably a little bit. You'd probably come down to about there. So we'd start to see the introductory message, maybe that tagline underneath as well. But in that tier 1, and this is where the fold line of our website will come in, let's say 80 or 90% of browser windows, because they will change and vary depending on what device you're looking at the website. So if that's our fold across there, we can see that much, or 90% of our audience can see that much without any scrolling. Then when they scroll through, we then get into, you might have guessed it, but tier 2. This is not as critical as the information in tier 1. It's not our priority content for this page, but the information in this page will probably be priority on its own page. So if we have a services landing page, then of course the list and breakdown of the services will be much, much higher up the page. We then bring into news, which is our regularly updated information. We can then put in maybe some sort of social proof, testimonial. Be quite nice. We could add multiple testimonials. We may even have them on a slider so we can flick through those testimonials as well. And then we're going to finish up with our footer section. We're going to have a map showing the location. I know it's going to be a fictional location, but our place in Manchester, so to find out where that is. And then we're going to have our very quick call to action, contact us, or even an inquiry form. This is something that, again, a law firm who works with a corporate market, it really depends on the audience and the breakdown But hopefully that gives you an idea now of our homepage wireframe with 3 tiers of priority. This gives us plenty to work on when we start moving over into our prototyping software or our final build software. I'm going to have a chapter coming up on website builders versus traditional web design approaches. And this isn't a sale for Squarespace, but that's the platform that I've chosen to use for Pixel Haze. And it served us very well. And we'll be taking you through the process here in Squarespace, showing you how we would bring this layout to life.